Hey guys, this is Gabby with the Mogul team. Today I am going to be talking about what to look for when you're walking through an investment property. So it may be the case that you are shopping around with your favorite realtor and you are trying to compare properties and trying to analyze what would be the best option for you according to your investment strategy. But there's a few basic things that you can look for, and I think they're important for most of your investment strategies. And that is basically when you're walking through a property, even before you go in, you want to take a look at the property from the outside and start looking for the big ticket items. That's step number one, I would say. What is a big ticket item, you may be wondering, and that would be basically take a look at the roof, take a look at the windows, take a look at the siding, and start noticing those items that would represent an expensive cost. When you go in, you also want to take a look at things like the furnace, the water tank, if it's gonna need replacing, anything like that, that could represent a major investment in cost, obviously. Then moving forward, you want to look onto the layout of the property. The layout goes in link with the size of the property. Some people, in most investment properties, you see that some of them, when you're looking at legal basement suites and whatnot, you would be looking at the 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom downstairs. You may be wondering, well, why can I do like 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom? You most definitely can, and I would suggest to do so at the right price. It is most common, and you would get more revenue from a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. That is the case, at least here in our rental market, and that's primarily why people in a lot of renovations do tend to go for that layout. Now, the layout needs to make sense and it needs to flow. Always try to put yourself in the shoes of whomever's going to be walking into it, or is either, if it's a renovation, whomever's going to be buying it, or if it's going to be for a buy and hold and you're going to be renting it out, well, what the feel is going to be for your tenant, right? Another thing to keep in mind after that is the number of bedrooms and the number of bathrooms. So if you have 3 bedrooms and you have 1 bathroom, it's not the end of the world, it's okay, but wouldn't it be nice to have an in-suite, especially if you're dealing with a small family? So you may have the parents, and if they have their own bathroom, it's a little bit nicer, and then the kids and visitors can use the one outside. So it just gives them a little bit more space. So it definitely adds quite a bit of value. When you are looking, well, the same could be said for the basement suite. They're just a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. Going on to the layout as well, before I forget, is you want it to, once again, flow. You don't want it to be too tight. So that goes again with the size of the house. You don't want to walk into a basement where you're going to be in the living room, you're going to be in the bedroom, and you're going to be in the kitchen. That you basically only need to move in different segments and you're going to be there. So there's no need to walk. So it's kind of like a loft. So, I mean, not to say that that's terrible or anything like that, but there is much more value if there's a little bit more flow and the layout just works better. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much one of the major things that you should be focusing on. And then, as any other investment property, always think, have in mind what your investment strategy is and what that return investment you want to see. The numbers matter, so keep them in mind when you're making these decisions. If there's going to be a big ticket item, say for example something like a crack on the foundation, it is more common than most people think. A lot of people get scared out of a property because they see a crack. They're actually quite common, especially for properties that are in the 40s, 50s, even 60s. But at the end of the day, trust the numbers, don't become emotional on your decisions. Be a smart investor and basically trust the numbers in what you are are working with. Definitely be ready to walk away if it doesn't, flow, if it's not meeting your check boxes on what you're looking for your investment property. Say, for example, a garage. So a garage can add quite a bit of value to your property as a rental too, that can add extra revenue, and for families, especially in living in a weather like Edmonton, a lot of people like to keep their cars in a garage just so that they don't have to deal with the snow, and all of that. So definitely there's value on that. So keep in mind and be ready to walk away from a property that maybe doesn't have a garage that you are looking for. It doesn't even have the space, or it doesn't make sense to build one for the price point that you are looking at. And then last but not least, I always like to say this: don't rely on appreciation when you are going through an investment property. It's definitely a plus when you get that appreciation. Is always exciting, but markets go up and down. It is a cycle. So when you're going, don't basically focus yourself on the appreciation. Focus more on the numbers, and the appreciation will always be a good plus, because if you only focus on it as one of your return on investments, you basically are just speculating. So try to stay away from that. And yeah, if you have any other questions, I'm always happy to help you guys out. So feel free to reach out.